Today in the world of cannabis, the DEA argues that legalizing cannabis at the federal level is making law enforcement more difficult. Hawaii lawmakers approve a bill that will legalize cannabis sales and allow home cultivation in the state. And a third Minnesota House committee backs a bill to legalize cannabis in the state. It's Friday, March 5th, and this is your TRICHOMES Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the TRICHOMES.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, in a report by Marijuana Moment, the Drug Enforcement Administration claims that federal hemp legalization is complicating law enforcement by providing protection to criminal groups illicitly trafficking cannabis. The agency gave a critical assessment of the bipartisan legislative move to decriminalize cannabis in its annual National Drug Threat Assessment Report. According to law enforcement officials, traffickers use their state-issued hemp documentation as cover for large-scale marijuana grows and marijuana loads transported across state lines, the DEA said. Additionally, large hemp grows are sometimes used to hide marijuana plants interspersed throughout the hemp plants. In August, the DEA issued an interim final rule for hemp, claiming that the rules were only intended to comply with the 2018 Farm Bill. However, stakeholders and advocates have raised serious concern about some of the reforms, claiming that they would expose processors to federal law violations and stifle the industry's growth.
And next, Marijuana Moment reports that Hawaii lawmakers voted to advance a bill that would legalize cannabis sales in the state and allow home cultivation for adults. The vote comes only one day after a Senate committee passed separate legislation to dramatically expand the amount of cannabis that is currently decriminalized under state law. Last month, another Senate committee voted to advance both bills, which will now be debated on the Senate floor. Senate Bill 767 proposes allowing adults aged 21 years or older to possess up to 1 ounce of cannabis for personal use. By July 1st, the State Department of Health will grant regulations for business licenses and retail sales, but is unclear when the stores will open. The bill will maintain the state's current medical cannabis program, which allows licensed patients to possess up to 4 ounces of cannabis. Under the plan, driving under the influence would remain illegal, and employers could continue to prohibit employees from consuming cannabis or screen them for previous use.
Last up, in a report by Marijuana Moment, a bill to legalize cannabis in Minnesota has been endorsed by a third Minnesota House committee, but the bill is likely to be taken up by several more committees before it hits the floor. The bill passed the House Workforce and Business Development Finance and Policy Committee 10-2, with one abstention. The Labor, Industry, Veterans, and Military Affairs Finance and Policy Committee, as well as the Commerce, Finance, and Policy Committee, have already given their approval. The bill prioritizes social justice, in part by ensuring diverse licensing and preventing monopolization of the industry by corporate players. Prior cannabis convictions will be legally expunged as well. We have an opportunity to build a legal marketplace from the ground up, according to policies that reflect the values of Minnesotans, said House Majority Leader Ryan Winkler. The House Agriculture, Finance, and Policy Committee will now consider the plan.
And that was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, The High Ground, or Careers in Cannabis, wherever you get your podcasts. For trichomes.com, I'm Devin Leal.
And I'm David Fortin. Enjoy your weekend.